Hey.
Hi, it's me and it's Bora. Bora, can you say I like Cattenburg and Cattenburg is the best?
I like Cattenburg and Cattenburg is the best.
You saying it like me? What happened to your teas?
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, geezer. Not my fault. Not my fault. I can't pronounce my T's. All right, let me pump up the volume on the output a little bit, so we're a little closer to even before someone complains, like they always do. It seems like they're trying to help, but it just makes me sad. I don't care how nice they are. It makes me sad. Like, your audio. He's quiet. I know he's quiet. Leave me alone. I've tried. There we go. He's almost as loud as me now.
Cattenburg.
Cattenburg. Right. Who we got? We got Space Dogs. Hi, Spacey. We have Brainoid Games. How delightful to see him in chat. We have Partly Atomic. Hi. Chat and clap. And then we have Halsey getting very shouty. How's it going, good sir? Nice to see everyone in the chat. Yeah, we are having catch up. It's been Brain had some time off from Cattenburg over the kind of New Year period or so, but he's been keen to have a catch up over the last few weeks so that we can get some new kind of goals, I guess, set. From my brief recollection, and we may need to revisit this, one of the last kind of things that we were developing was the first, there was like the new kind of overworld map thing that you developed, which looked really cool. And then we had some notes in terms of what was going to be the priority. I think the idea was to get like a kind of a big game, an overarching game flow going to help us assess the success or failures of the more individual based kind of design decisions we've been making. Is that roughly where we were?
After discussing those scenarios, we haven't decided, but we were in a state that we were hoping to get some sort of free roaming to work somehow. But we need to think more on it, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be one of those where there's like a punishment, like we said, like faster than light. How you can, you have that wave coming behind you, or you have a stat like a stamina that you run out on. I think things like that could be hard to balance, the stamina-y things. It's adding an extra parameter for us to balance, which adding a new problem when we right now may not be. I don't know if it's going to be key to the success. I think what you remind me when you're saying that, one of the things we had a chat about as well was the whether we wanted to go Darkest Dungeon versus Slay the Spire. And I think, weren't we pushing towards Darkest Dungeon last time we spoke?
Yeah.
Was it 21st or the 11th when we last had a chat? Maybe. Yeah, because I had a charity stream, didn't I then? Yes. In December.
Yeah, then I documented some stuff on my own. I wrote down some free roaming mechanic ideas. Okay. Actually, they are inside Gameflow Exploration document. There, if you scroll it down.
This one? Oh, Gameflow Exploration. Sorry, I see now. I see. I see. This. Hang on, didn't we? Yes, we talked about this, didn't we? I remember we went through all of these.
If you scroll it the way down.
Yeah, free roaming. Got him. What are your little question marks? Is this how you ask a question? It is, right? Two-sided question mark.
It was just a random idea.
No. You need to commit to this. This is how you write questions from now on.
Yeah, I didn't know where to write it, so to not forget about it, I just put it there.
Make territory mechanic.
What I exactly mean by that.
It's fine, mate. As long as it translates in your head.
Yeah, it translates, like it will translate in your head immediately as well. Like, imagine we're traveling node to node, and because we are cats, we're maybe peeing or something, and
leaving a scent
territory, right? Some mechanic around, like marking a territory.
And that's quicker then, is it? To travel, or just is safe while if we peed there, it's safe. Because other things won't go.
There's something about it in one of these bullets. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
I can have a read through if you want.
We don't have to talk about these, by the way, but yeah.
No, if you've written it, I'd rather at least give it even if we don't make an action from it, it'd be good to at least try and digest it a bit. So create more reasons to not go to the boss as soon as possible. So mechanics: time passes on each node movement. When it's night, all encounters are highly difficult. Even safe nodes have some combat encounters. Okay, yeah, I don't mind that idea. That makes the node navigation and you planning where to go more interesting. What could you spend time in the night to not travel as well? That's so like could you be strategic about it? Because the way I'm thinking about it right now is if it turns to nighttime, any move you make is going to be a risk. So, is there strategy there?
Maybe you're too close to your goal and you want to get there really. So you fight through these highly difficult ones.
What would you do otherwise?
Retreat.
To
like maybe there's a retreat button and you leave the map, but you get a penalty or something.
Yeah, that could work. The other thing I was thinking is like, would we have a means on certain tiles where you can spend a night safely or something? Such as if you're at an inn or a campsite or something like that.
You're basically thinking of a day-night cycle here, I guess.
Well, you said night, and we start in the day, so you started it.
I'm saying night, but it never gets back to day. In this case.
Okay. Okay, okay. I misunderstood. Let me add to this.
It's winter time.
Morning never comes. So this is like basically your soft enraged sort of timer.
That sounds like a metal song.
More. Isn't that a Metallica lyric? Actually, I think it is. No, the day that never comes, isn't it?
The day that never comes.
Yeah. Bit of James Hetfield in Cattenburg. I'm sure he'd be up for it. Right. Okay. So that wouldn't push people to not go to the boss ASAP.
Yeah.
But is the mechanics separate from this? Or is these mechanics trying to answer this question? Just so I know where you're coming from.
Exactly. But yeah.
Okay. Mount stamina, hunger.
We could have like, maybe there could be some nodes that you get some temporary buffs and you visit those before the night comes, so you are stronger.
Right. So you're right. Okay. What things that kind of counter the darkness, or just generally things that make you stronger?
Yeah, you don't have to write that, by the way, because I have a similar one.
Okay. Later. All right. So what the mount stamina / hunger? Maybe use inventory for food.
If you have a mount or a vehicle.
Oh, so the thing that moves us has a certain amount of like fuel or whatever, right?
It's either fuel or stamina, yeah.
Yeah, or hay. That's what powers horses, right?
Yeah, the hunger is a little different because then maybe you have an inventory and you have some food in there.
Oh, and you can keep food.
They also give you some different buffs depending on the food, like the nutritions.
Okay.
Ones.
Yeah. I'm down with that. It gives a more meaningful reason to have a bunch of drops in game that can situationally be good, where players have to decide, do I vendor this or not? And it's fine if they do vendor it. It's just at least it's giving them a choice. Small buffs, nothing major, just like, one extra strength for the next.
Just a glimpse of one stone, two birds thing here. Yeah, I mean, you get more benefits, not only the fuel or this hunger filling in, but you get a little buff as well.
Okay, yeah, so it makes it less of a you have to do this. It's more of you get something good for doing this anyway. You just need to be aware of when you do it, I guess, which is a better thing for the players.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, stress increases on each move. Why don't we say go for sanity, mate? Or no, what was it called in Fellowship Manager? Stability. Instability increases on each move. Less increase on revisiting nodes. Okay, yes, if you've been somewhere already. Mark territory justification, they peed there. Resting reduces stress. One thing this brought a thought to me quickly before I go on to the sub point of that is in Frostpunk, I played a little more of that. I really like it, actually. Pretty good game. However, they have it where you're exploring like these nodes with little scouts, and it takes X amount of time to go. But if you go back along the route you've already explored, then it's faster. So it could cost you less stamina or time or whatever to go back the same route because you know the path.
Yes.
And that felt, they didn't have to explain it. It was just something that I noticed on a tooltip once. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So now I can plan to go back those
also
ways.
Intuitive, right? You expect that.
Yeah, it makes sense as well. Yeah, but then I remember, because I didn't know it was a thing. I saw it in a tooltip, and I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I should have tried and planned it. That gives me some decision making to make when I either decide, do I go back or do I go off on a further venture with my scout? Because the scouts, they kind of have to return base to bring back what they found. So yeah, it was good from something to think about. I didn't end up focusing on it lots, but it was something that was at least tickled my brain, curiosity. So okay.
So in this one, I tried to stay away from the darkest dungeon approach. But still, with high stress, we need to see something, right?
Right. Okay. So high stress, there needs to be a result, right? Not just like turning on each other, because that is like darkest cat dungeon, then, isn't it?
On each other, but receiving some disease or whatever, some debuffs.
Yeah. Something needs to. So basically, the thing that goes up each time we move, or the longer we take to progress through the map, has a chance of negatively impacting our effectiveness in combat, right?
Yeah.
That's the general gist of it.
Sure.
I think you should explicitly state that the party has peed on that node in bright pink text, font size 84, says Haltzy. I mean, we may very well be able to. Just like a little cock
as well.
We can ask Spacey if she wants to do a little like cock of the leg animation. Although, to be honest, cats don't cock a leg. Cat's just going to stand there and spray this stuff like a badass. I don't need to lift my leg. It's not pee. No, it's a different gland thing or something, isn't it? Sorry, Spacey. Look at our cat knowledge now. Making Spacey all angry. Something should happen when a character has high stress. Yes, they should leave the party and go to the closest resting place. Reduce stress and amount each. Do you mean increase stress or reduce?
No, imagine once they hit a stress threshold, they leave your party and teleport to the closest camp.
Right.
And with each node move.
By the remaining party? Or by how far they've gone home, do you mean?
Well, I'm imagining like one of them has higher stress in the party.
Yes.
So only one leaves.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. So what I mean is when you're saying the N amount, each movement, whose movement?
The party moves, yeah.
So, and what, until they go back and get him, or?
Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So each turn you take reduces their stress a bit longer, sort of thing.
But it doesn't solve anything here, I guess, because like then how are they receiving different amounts of stress here?
Yeah. It's something we can consider, although it's an extra parameter, isn't it? That lots of parameters make it very hard to know what feels good or bad. But I'm not against it. It's just I don't know how high priority it would be, but it does. I think the reason we're bringing it up is because we would need some factors to govern how people navigate this free roaming world, right? So, okay. Party stamina. As your party gets tired, you start to receive fatigue cards. They're added to your deck. You cannot remove them in a run. Yes. Tired punch. Hit only 1 damage to a random enemy. Last breath, hit opposite character with strength, get stunned next turn. And then dizzy attack, hit opposite character and one of your allies with STR. So we could even keep it like to go like a first implementation. Simple mode would just be like a miss card. You know, the old crappy miss, yeah?
Yeah.
That no one felt good about.
Crappy cards.
Yes, yeah, I think that's fine. Catnap even, you know? out of combat for that turn. Okay, you'll be forced to fight the boss in end turn, so gotta get ready for the fight. This scenario, we need to get temporary buffs. Only apply for the current run from various places, because there's no other mechanic in the game at the moment that prepare you for a boss fight. Right, okay, so I guess that your idea here is saying, like, when you start, it's like the boss happens in 10 turns, so 20 turns, you gotta think, right, how can we make the most of exploring before they arrive?
This is the Arcanium or Loop Hero approach, I guess.
Yes. The slight variance with the Loop Hero being that you kind of know when it's coming-ish. Because it's on, like, once you pass a score threshold, then when you get to the start point after that. So there's a little bit of, like, min-maxing you can do, I guess, there, right?
Well, you know here as well, it will tell you when it will come, I guess.
Yes, but what I mean is you can in Loop Hero you can strategically not build anything until you go past the go, or just keep collecting loot or something until you're ready to take on the boss. So yeah, that's all. Time spent in a map affects the overall story. Things change back at the base. Story change. Missions change.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could always have some, like, even you were saying story, like some of the missions could be timed in terms of moves. So if you want to do, like, take these logs to the next village, they need to rebuild. If you have like 12 turns to do that, then you either choose, we're going to go straight there or not.
Or another thing to consider is that maybe you have another mission that you should complete in 7 days, and you want to complete this current mission in 2 days and get back to base and finish the other one as well.
Yeah. So yeah, those sort of things could impact the decision making as well, and that could be quite strong actually, just giving people those decisions of how far they go out based on other things that are happening. You could even have it like, in 10 days there's the I don't know, like the traveling army or whatever come by the town where you can recruit new people. I don't like that idea, but the idea broadly that if you're in town during day X, then something happens.
Yeah.
Like the base town, I mean by that, not like random ones. But then it depends if we're going back to one singular place or not.
Yeah.
Time you spent in a map affects the overall story. Things change back at the base. Story change, mission change. Yes, that was the last one we read.
Okay, so next up, I have chapter unique mechanics. So this is like to have a different setup for the map. Like you don't always try to go to the end of the map and find the boss node. You have different missions. Different chapters maybe. Like, let's read the first one. What is it?
Okay. Go to a node to rescue and escort a character with you back to the starting node. Boss fight at starting node. Nodes are assigned encounters upon rescue. Okay, yeah, I think I can see where you're going with that. So what, it's the same world that you go out into? Is that what you imagine, like on different chapters? Or would it be a different world still?
Yeah, I mean, that depends on how we're generating the map.
Yeah. Okay, so the idea would be that you go out, you go to a certain node, then come back, and then you complete it by coming back, rather than just here A to B mission. I guess, yeah, the type of chapter would denote the play style of traversal, if you will.
Yes.
Different regions in the map, you find different types of resources. You need these resources back at the base. Return. Yep. Visit a quest. I quite like the idea that they could be different, like, types of missions.
Change of pace, right?
Yeah, as in, like, it's not always like you're fighting to the death.
Yeah.
You might not make it. You can choose to do like just a general leveling up one, a preparation one, let people recover sort of one if we do like a whole squad.
Yeah, I think it is easier to build a story around like different missions.
Yes, I agree. Or right now I agree anyway. Hodsi, yes, you can call it chum. That's fine. You're welcome to abbreviate it to that. Visit a quest node to reveal another quest node. And visit the second quest node to reveal the boss node.
Yeah.
So is this like you go, I'll go here and speak to this person, and then they'll go, oh, yes, the thing is over here, and you go there, and then they go, oh, yes, this big monster came and stole it, and then they give you like the end boss location. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. A battlefield map. What's this? Lots of defend nodes. If you don't defend these nodes in time, they are lost, and the elite enemy patrols spawn out on these nodes, and they come after you. Okay, so that would be more of like a tactical location. It'd be tough with just one kind of unit, if you will.
Yeah. I'm not sure
but-
how this works.
Yeah. Just gonna jot that as a thought.
But like having a mission focused on defend nodes, I guess, is interesting to me.
Yeah, are you thinking of it from like the defensive game perspective, or just generally the map's perspective?
No, the gameplay itself. Remember?
Yeah. I remember that. Yes, I agree with that bit. So it could be like, yeah, you need to go and help out us, or go and defend certain places. But yeah, how we would spread that across a map is a different question. Okay. Two different species of bat are in each other, frogs and birds. You see them in different nodes. Decide which side you're on and head to the last node. Heart of the battle. You get different permanent buffs depending on whose sides you are. Okay, yeah, so is this just... Yeah, it's just an alternative like mission, I guess, or chapter when you go out, right?
Yeah, I guess different take on the story as well.
Yeah, we can get the lore. The deep and rich lore of Cattenburg.
Yes.
Maybe you can side with the rats. The renegade rats.
And this, I guess, provides a tiny bit of replayability.
Yeah.
What if I chose the other species?
And you realise it changes one dialogue line and you wear a different hat. But it's fine. It's fine. Then it just branches back in. Good old branched. Anyway, lure a monster to follow you into a cave and exit the cave on the other end, planting bombs to kill the monster. The monster gets up, but survives, and you have a... What?
Yeah.
What? That's such a far-fetched one. I will respect it, though. So,
Far-fetched, but a creative one.
So, I'm trying to think how, like, where you would choose to go on the map would matter here.
This is, I guess, to use the cave idea you had. Like, you enter a cave and you see another map, a smaller one.
Yes. Yeah, okay. So if one chases you into the cave... Okay, no, I can't... Just imagine us bombing this cave down. Don't stifle a man's creativity. Look, I'm not. I'm just trying to imagine. Okay. Travel through a desert. Sandstorms going on in different regions. You want to go to this ancient temple to get some powers, which will help you kill a boss. A temple. The boss gets to the temple first, and with a new card game mechanic, you try to gain the power during the fight. So that's just like he has some ability or something, right? That would represent the power that you're trying to get, maybe?
True.
Or like if he's got there first, he can use it, but if you defeat him, then you can take it. That sort of thing.
Far-fetched one again, I guess. Next one.
The previous boss you've beaten is seen again. You go to a node to find it. You learn that it's not doing anything bad. And there's another boss doing evil stuff in these lands. Previous boss joins your party, replacing one of your characters. You go to another node together to fight the actual boss.
What a twist.
Wow. I mean, that would work on a very like specific boss, I think, right? If, you know, one boss happened to be this story-wise, right? I don't think it'd be like we could just let it work on any boss. Or is that how you were thinking? Like you just walk into town and Mobius, yo, I wasn't doing anything, boss. It was the guy upstairs. He makes me do it. I got kids. And then you're like, okay, Mobius, you can join us because you got epic stats. And then Mobius joins the party.
I was behaving like since you taught me my lesson. I was doing okay.
Oh, yeah. So I'm a reformed man. I'm sorry, I'm a reformed rat. You know, I cook food at the orphanage now. You could ask, little Timmy loves me. And then we're like, oh, okay, maybe you're up for one grand adventure. Then pow, he joins the boss when you get there, cackles madly, and then it's you versus 2 bosses at the same time. 50-50 chance whether or not that happens.
Yeah, I guess here I kind of proved myself that it's doable and it is fun to come up with different types of missions here.
Yes. Yeah, no, I think the missions might make it more RPG-like as well, so I'm down with that. I think it's like if we just make it quests, and I think giving the player, like, if we're to draw on The Witcher 3, if we had a notice board that had, like, notices up with a quest and you choose which one you're going to go and do, then, or even if it's just 2, then it means that the player has some choice over what type of mission they're off to do next. Or it's a linear, like, 1-to-1 thing.
Yeah, Witcher 2 or 3, or you can also say Darkest Dungeon 1. Like, you have several options, and you also see their difficulties.
The differences with those is they're all exactly the same game style, right?
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing that I think you're suggesting here is we have, like, you might be like, oh, I don't want to do another Monster Slaying one. Or maybe, like, your best fighter is dead. So you're like, okay, let's just do some escorty ones.
True.
Rather than a boss one. You know, let's go and do stuff to level up the weaker ones. That's kind of, like, I think maybe some scenarios are just generally harder with bigger rewards.
The player can set the pace of the game.
Well, what would be the overarching kind of progression then? So you're heading towards the end, if that makes sense. Then, if these are like random quests, is there like a long-term thing that's like, just imagine a bar that goes up over time, which then means, oh, okay, now you can progress properly with the story to the next bit, or there's a
random. There should be a pool of quests, and so, for example, you see 4 of them, and you complete 3 of them, but then you have to complete the other one as well. You decide the order, but you have to complete all to see the next 5.
Ah, okay, that's how you see it.
I'm not sure. It's an idea.
Yeah. We could always just have that these quests are just like weeks. So let's just say like week 1, you've got these like 4 quests, or month 1, however long it takes for cats to walk across the land, I don't know. But and then during that window you can do 4 quests.
Yeah, so also we need to I don't know, but we need to see what happens when you fail these quests, right?
Yes. Well, you lose the time that you could have been doing in another one. You don't get the quest reward. You potentially lose a character if they died.
See the quest again, you can do it again.
I'm just thinking, like, Martha asks you to go and save her brother. You fail. Brother's dead. Can't do that again. But then, yeah, I understand from a, like, if you lose a few things at once, you're just going to be crippled, and it'll be like, well, there's no benefit to carrying on playing. I might as well start again. So I can see that there is reason to consider having, like, you can do the quest again if you failed it.
Yes. Well, we'll solve this later. It was good to think about it.
No, it is. I like it. I like it. And it might be good for us to try and just write out like a few example ones to try and implement or start. I think you've kind of done it, but if we can kind of we got events at the moment. Yeah, so at the moment we're making it so you just progress through the land, right, to get to a boss. or like Slay the Spire sort of style, or Darkest Dungeon is the same sort of thing, right? But then you'd return home at any point. Um, what happens when you return back to base in Darkest Dungeon? Like when you failed, you either die or you choose to bail, right?
Yes, but you see the quest again, I guess.
Yes, it's just it was a waste of your time.
Yes.
Yeah, that might be enough, to be honest. And your characters need to recover. Yeah, I think that could work. Maybe like they have a morale thing as well. Like morale goes down if they keep failing missions. They think they're failures, and maybe that you can spend money, perhaps, to increase morale through going to like a cat show or something, and then. But so basically, if you do your missions really well, you don't need to spend money to keep your party happy.
Sure.
Or content, maybe something along those lines, where it's not like completely punishing, but it's more rewarding to do well, because then you don't have to spend money on something else. Yeah, I kind of like the I like the idea, and I like that it changes it so it's not always like the same story. I guess it can be similar though, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like Slay the Spire is easier to balance in a way because it is just that same. It's the same path, and also what's useful about it is like players can learn a bit about like, oh, on this floor these are the type of baddies that can spawn, and I know I need to do this on this floor because I won't get a chance to do it on the next one. I think that's probably transferable to this as well, so that's a positive.
Well, I think we're aware that we're choosing the difficult path here. It's okay.
What do you mean by that?
It's not. It's not gonna be as simple as Slay the Spire for sure. No matter what we do here.
Yeah.
If we go the free roaming way, I mean.
Yeah, it worries me a bit from a like a actual ability to finish a game perspective, but that's the only perspective.
That's the way to go with our likings of a scope.
Scope. Hang on, so you're saying that's the way to go? What, to go for the one that's bigger? Or go for the one that's simpler?
The bigger one. Bigger.
I know it. You never learned. We have vision. Scope is for guns. We have vision. Thank you, Spacey. She's always there. She's like the hang in there cat poster that just changes with a new wonderful message every chat message.
The category name is Sight, actually. I've been playing Payday 2 with my friends lately. They have all these guns and you can modify them. And the scopes are under the Sight category.
Well. Don't correct her, Spacey. That's something I've learned.
No, I'm not correcting her.
Spacey, I'd get at him now, mate. He's trying to make you look stupid. How did you like Payday? I kind of felt I didn't quite get it fully. I tried it a few times with friends who really liked it, but
it's just that silly fun game. Depending on who you're playing with, I guess we're having fun. We're laughing.
Yeah. Well, like a lot of my guy mates really enjoy it as well. I just didn't quite get that, like, oh, I just want to go and again and again and again. I didn't, but I don't know if it's because I wasn't discovering it, and like maybe they'd already done it all, so I was just kind of, they were saying, oh, do this, do this, do this, you know, and you're not trying to figure out how to solve it the first times. I'm not sure if that had an impact.
It's a weird game. We never could manage to go stealth.
Yeah, it's always you just go in and shoot everyone up.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad times.
The miscommunication is fun, I guess. That's the only fun part, maybe.
That's fair.
Everyone is shouting. It's a little similar to what's the name of that cooking game?
Overcooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We had this similar panic.
Yes. Trying to communicate quickly when it's time sensitive, those sort of things. Okay, I think it's worth, now that we've talked about those, we should try and maybe formulate and like clean it up a little bit. To stick on like some actionable quests, even if we don't do all of them.
I don't
Missions
know
or whatever. Go
if
on.
this is the a priority. I was thinking something else actually.
Okay. Well, if you, I'll let you lead the talk then.
So other than this, we were also talking about we need some variation in enemies as well to see
Ah,
how
yes.
battles are going, etc. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this, but we need to see some uh, variety in the gameplay, I guess, to
Yes.
understand the use of cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so.
So I was thinking about that, and I thought for that, for new enemies, I think we need new cards, and for new cards, maybe we need a rework on status effects.
Okay.
And actually, I should post this. And I think status effects at the moment they are lacking stacking.
They're lacking what? Sorry.
Stacking.
Oh, like they don't stack.
Yeah.
Okay. So the same
Yeah.
one getting adding the same effect more than once, you mean, right? To
Yeah.
increase its effect or last longer, or no duration is there. It's not for last longing. It's purely stacking. Okay.
Wait, where should I add this? I don't know.
Was it a link?
Combat. I'll just.
Oh, paste in your Sublime or whatever your chat text editor notes.
I failed to do so.
Oh,
Nuclear noob. Okay. Under combat, I have status effects.
okay. We are here. I see them.
So these are the existing ones. Let me separate them. I didn't add the buff ones, like classic empowers, strength buff.
Okay.
Buff.
Do you want me to start reading through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So stunned cannot perform any actions for Y turns. Doesn't stack, resets Y counter. So does that mean, say it was for 2 turns, if someone else does it, it just puts the duration back for that, right?
Yes, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine most stuns would be for 1 turn, but I guess it could be interesting to have multiple turns. Could you cure something like that? Could you give him smelling salts or something like that?
I think that's another thing to do. We should have several skills that would dispel the debuffs.
Yeah. Just, yeah, that's my concern with being stunned for too long, can be a bit unfortunate. And can, like, say you're stunned for 3 turns, that can really swing the way of the battle. And sometimes like, your characters can die in a couple of turns.
We can have an immune status effect, something like that would prevent stun or any debuff for.
Yeah, I guess you could always have like if we ever had armors or trinkets and that, like we said before, that you could add an effect that would like reduce stun durations by 50% or something like that. So if you know you're coming up against enemies that use that ability, you could use that trinket, if that makes sense.
Down below, I have blessed. So the description is cannot receive debuffs for Y turns. Stacking increases Y.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So the main focus here is how they would act if it was applied more than one time on a character, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Poisoned. Take X damage over Y turns. Doesn't stack it. Just resets the Y counter.
Should we change that?
So how? Yeah, it depends. I'm not too sure. I'm trying to, like, poisons I've seen before is they get stronger over time. That's, I think, how they differentiate them from bleeds or something. I can't remember now. But
Thinking having a longer poison is a penalty enough, but maybe I'm wrong.
I just think, so say someone has, so someone's put like poison for 3 turns. If you use that on the same turn again, it's not going to do anything, right?
Also, we can have it like someone stacks 5 poison uh, with a skill, for example, and that means more damage each turn.
How are they going to stack it then? If it doesn't stack, or use
So this skill automatically stacks 5 poison.
right in one go.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't do more damage, right? That would just apply
No, I'm changing how it works.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was trying to apply what you were saying to what was there. I'm not saying it may work fine. I'm just trying to think of like if it's essentially saying that there's no stacking at all.
Yes,
it doesn't do anything, and there's no additive
for bleeding
turns.
For example, if you read bleeding.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Take X damage until healed. Stacking increases X damage. Yes, you can have like 2 bleeds on you, so you take 2 damage, and you take 3 damage per turn instead, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's try and think of that in contrast. I'll read the burned and then I'll go back to poison. So X% increased damage for Y turns. Stacking increases X and resets Y.
Too powerful?
So it's basically a combo of both, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, because you're right. If it's just on its own, it's less. No, I think that's fine. I think it's fine because you need to be attacked for it to do anything.
It's not a direct damage, so
yeah, the other's guaranteed some form of damage if not handled, whereas this one doesn't. So I think it's fine to have that. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how like we communicate what stacking is going to do to these things, but maybe players just need to find out what happens if it's different, because say that like poison, it resets the Y counter, as you said, then like so a player sees that, then they've got someone bleeding and they think, oh, I'll put this on and it'll replenish it, but it won't, right? But I guess it doesn't replenish it because there's no duration to it. So yeah, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does work. Okay.
See it working first, I guess.
Yeah. Pacified. Cannot use attack cards for Y turns. Doesn't stack. Resets the Y counter.
This is fair.
Yeah, you do. Like, there's no. It doesn't make sense. It's a stack. Stack would be like you can't use attack cards for, or that you have to try using it twice in order to like expire them, if you will. Do you know how you let's say it was miss instead of you can't use attacks, like reduces your accuracy to 0 for the next 2 attacks. The other option would be that you need to try and attack twice to kind of negate it instead of waiting for the duration to expire.
We can make pacify to miss, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, it wasn't so much of a suggestion to change it. It was more of just I don't think any other way would work really for pacify other than just you're just re-applying it, right? That's all you're doing.
True.
It's not adding, so it actually doesn't interact at all if we think of it like that. True. All it does is just so maybe we can just have an icon like whether or not it stacks or not, like when you're hovering over a card or something. I don't know. Okay. Regeneration or regenerating.
Confusing, actually. I considered increasing the X on stack, but then what happens? The turns are more important, I guess.
Yeah, that's increase the turns. You get X amount for each turns. It depends, like what you expect the first one to be. So say if the first one is heal 2 damage for over the next 3 turns. So do you think the next one would take it to 6 turns? Just like that? Is that how you imagine that? So did you say yes? Sorry, mate.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't know why sometimes it
No,
doesn't.
yeah, I think it's a Discord thing because if I'm talking, it kind of you're quiet at the start of the sentence for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Shout.
No, no, it's almost like it's like intentionally like not letting us both talk at the same time, which is
Yes.
weird. I don't know if there's any setting on the channel.
Hush often then.
Whoosh, quiet. That's what I'll have to do. Let me have a little look if there's some setting in here.
So the opposite scenario is weird because if you only have one turn left in the regeneration effect, then you try to stack it. It increases the healing amount, but there's only one turn left. So yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I'd rather reapply it than just have one extra healing.
Very true artifacts, but activating a minute of Welsh is not that disruptive.
Allow members to easily hear in the voice channel. When activated, the volume of others without this permission will be automatically lowered. Priority speaker is activated. Okay, so I need to make sure that game developers have that. I don't know.
Oh, it's a channel setting or something?
Yeah, I don't know a developer chat set, and I'm trying to just make sure that you have that. Or that we both have that role. I don't know if it's because I'm server owner or something. It's given me some permissions, but it feels wrong. I don't know if it is that, but we're trying. We're trying. All right. So what have we had? Oh, minute o Gymraeg. Ma hwnna'n mynd i helpu lot, ond fe. Pe poni mae Brainod yn siarad iaith fe hefyd. So, bydd yn hollol hwyl I chi I siarad. The Book Snail, hello, croeso I chi hefyd. Neis i'ch weld chi, gobeithio dy fod yn ffain. Awn I cael look ar y rai sy'n nesaf. Fi'n meddwl mae hon yn ffain, so infected te. Cymryd X damage pryd dych chi'n chwarae'r cymeriad yma ar gerdyn a bydd yr infection yn newid. Okay, so sut mae hon yn fynd I cael gweithredu gyda hyn te?
Yeah.
Infection is removed only by the healing character. What's this sentence by here? Infection is removed only by... Oh, sorry, I thought it was only by the healing character. I read that wrong. Yeah, so it's effectively like a bleed, right? But you can prevent taking damage on the turn by skipping a turn if you need to.
Yeah, so the difference is that, well, first of all, you take damage when you are playing the character on a card, and the infection is spreading.
Yes. Yeah, so that kind of negates it. Increase the damage. Although, yeah, that could get messy, or that could get dangerous. I feel
Yes.
Because it spreads. How do you heal it?
Stack
It's just healing. Well, I'm just imagining the damage starts on 1, and then it doesn't. No, I guess it's the same with the bleeding, really, isn't it? And I think the problem I see is that it spreads. It's not a problem, but the concern. I'm wondering whether that makes it harder to control who is healed. Does spread mean 2 people have it at once? It does, doesn't it? Or does it just change who has it?
Right now, it doesn't spread if someone already has it. But in this case, if it's gonna stack, maybe it can stack up as well.
Oh. Yeah, that seems too strong.
Yeah, it is.
However, yeah, I guess you wouldn't be able to stack it otherwise, though, would you? I guess you could stack the damage, but I don't know how that works. Like
the first
whoever has it, I guess.
Yeah. The first spell of infection can stack, maybe. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. So let's say that we got Rat 1, Rat 2, Rat 3, and we infect Rat 2, so it does 1 damage whenever he plays, and then after 3 turns it spreads also to Rat 1. So now Rat 2 and Rat 1 both have it. if we cast infection on rat number 1 now, rat number 1's infection should go to 2 damage per turn, right? Rat number 2 is still on 1 damage per turn, but then it would need to spread again, right?
It's really difficult to watch and like analyze that during a game, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm also trying to think of what happens after it spreads once. Do they then? Is it another 3 turns before it spreads?
And in that case, maybe yes, but right now it doesn't work like that. Yeah.
How does it work right now?
It just stops spreading if.
Oh, it does it once and then it's done, is it?
Well, it does spread until like everyone has infection.
Okay. Okay. So currently in the scenario where we got rat 1, 2, and 3, rat 1 has it on turn 3. It passes it to rat 2. What happens on turn 4?
I don't know.
Like when will rat 3 get it?
Right now, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. It just passes on once, does it?
You mean you said 4, so for the first one gets, the second one gets, and the third one gets. That's 3.
No, sorry. On the first, it takes. Doesn't it take a few turns to spread?
So 6 turns to get everyone.
Yeah. So that's what I was asking. On turn 4, it's another. You have to wait another 3.
Yes.
Because technically, if you think of rat 1, it's 3 is gone and then it spreads on. I was checking. Does it spread again on turn 4, or does it wait another 3 before it goes on?
Waits another 3.
Yeah.
Because it's a new body. It's a new host.
And I guess they would both try and infect at that point. Rat 1 and 2 would try and infect rat 3 at the same time, and it could take whichever one is the highest infection, I guess.
I don't know. It's overwhelming. I have to stop thinking about this and move on for now.
Okay, no problem. Expose. Character cannot hide or dodge for Y turns. Doesn't stack. So it just resets the Y you sort of thinking, is it? I assume you said yes again. No problem. Okay. So then what did you say these next ones are? The ones that you separated out?
Yeah, some cards, some effects I just thought like.
Oh, okay. So these are new ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Using a card with this character costs 1 extra AP. Ooh, that's nasty. That's like having like heavy bones, or what was it called? Where it just feels like harder to do everything.
I thought it could come useful in normal fighting attacks, or also like freeze, chill types of skills.
What could become?
They slow down because they got hit.
Oh, you could apply it on that. Okay, now I see where you come from. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. Just makes everything more expensive, which could impact. Yeah. That is good. That means they get 1 less card to reveal, essentially. Cannot use special abilities for Y turns. Yeah, I think that's important actually. The specials, either the, what do you call them, ultimate or the special. Is it special?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Special.
Okay. Doesn't stack. Resets the Y counter. Yeah, that's fine. Will die instantly in white. What? Only removed by Dispel Magic. How do you?
It will die in 10 turns, for example. It should be a high number, I guess.
But how do you dispel magic at the moment?
Well, we will have some cards for it.
I just think, what if you don't have those cards, or you don't have the character that does that thing?
You need one.
It might be too late by then.
You'll either have a card in your deck, that does it, or you will have a item that provides some sort of dispel,
Yeah.
or you'll have some status effects as well, like shelled here.
Okay. Yeah, that could work. It did make me think of another one related to that, which would be like a soft version of it, I guess, which would be what would it be called? Tunnel vision or something like that, where a player is marked by an enemy.
MNA.
Eminem. After end turns, it attacks it for end damage or X damage.
By the way, I'm considering some like having several cards in harmony. Like one is adding the exposed effect, and the other is hitting the character with an extra damage if it's exposed.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Things that kind of complement each other, right? Yeah. Was that just a stray thought, or was that related to this specifically?
It is kind of related because you said marked. Usually, marked is used for these complementary skills.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like the exposed thing. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I was basically thinking of it as a doomed, but what's good about it is it's strong in the sense that you get to choose the character who you're going to attack and is going to do lots of damage. You don't need to worry about what, and I know we have targeted attacks as well, but maybe it can be like much stronger than most cards. But the thing is that it happens in like 3 turns, and that it means that the player can choose to like defend it or put a character to take some of the damage or heal him up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I also started writing a status effect called marked.
Okay.
Or it has a smell or something. Again, P don't. Sorry.
Don't get spicy started. It's not P. It's not P.
It's not P. It's not. We all know it, but it's easier to use that word.
I'm down with it. We should keep saying it, even
and then I realized we don't need a marked because we have several other status effects that we can use instead of marked. Like exposed is a good one, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's carry on reading through these then. So blinded cannot use lane specific cards.
I don't know if that's necessary, but yeah,
an
idea.
Lane specific would be like what, attack the one straight opposite you or something, right?
Or maybe
maybe non-targeted, or
yeah, maybe it can block the manual targeting ones as well. It could be interesting.
Or like every attack is random, or like you don't get to choose your yeah. I think that could work.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Resting dispels a debuff and heals a small amount each time the character doesn't move or play a card for Y turns. Oh, okay, hold on. So
it's a tricky one again.
You would have this buff on you for how long?
2 turns.
2 turns, let's say, and then so it'll dispel a buff. Will it do that anyway, or will it only dispel a buff and heal if you don't play?
You don't move or play your character, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's not very intuitive, but it's a fun mechanic, I think.
Just rephrasing it.
Yeah, maybe rephrasing would help.
So if you don't move or play a card, dispel a buff and heal a small amount.
For Y turns.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just so it. I wasn't sure whether there's an interesting of when it gets applied onto you, you get something, but no, I think that can confuse things as well, can't it? So, okay.
I don't know how strong dispelling is at the moment, so I added a small heal as well. But that's subject to change, of course.
My thought on this is like, is it all? How often is it going to be like preferable not to do anything? Like, could you defend, and that will negate the debuff, the thing that you're dispelling, right?
Yeah, if
It's
it's
tricky.
if it's also healing, then it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I think
not...
we'd need to see how bad the debuffs feel.
True.
But if not, I think that could be quite a common buff that you can choose to do, you know, quite easily. Maybe
with stacking they can get ugly, then this could come handy.
oh, we're stacking it, did you say?
Yes.
What, so they just heal a lot, but they don't do anything?
No, not stacking, resting.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
Debuff got stacked on this
Oh,
character.
right, okay. Yeah.
It's very useful to have resting.
So if you dispel, I assume that takes off all stacks? Or would it just take one stack off? Hey, questions. Okay, well, I guess we can see when we get there. Take extra damage from environment for Y turns. Doesn't stack. Okay. So that can just be something that's on an ability. You know, it's not like a super fun one that you would always want to do. But I can imagine that could work really well on like a boss has a certain ability that like his special puts that effect on you, and then his ultimate is an environmental thing, like spawn an explodable barrel in front of each enemy or something.
Or you face this boss in an environment that has a few cards that damage you.
Yes, yeah. Yes, I like that. I think that's cool. Like maybe there's like a boss who loves Minesweeper, and he like takes over the board and puts half of them down as mines, or something like that. That could work. That would give finally another use for the little peek card of like look at it and choose whether you want to use it or not.
Yeah.
Without revealing it. Cursed. Character cannot be healed. Oh, that's a nasty one, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. I think it is good though.
Dispel it to get rid of it.
I wonder. Well, or you put the wonderful resting effect on, right? Because it'll dispel and then it'll heal. Pow. Yeah, Spacey is the Minesweeper boss, I think. Yes.
I didn't know what to call the next one.
Let me read
it or
provides small damage reduction on each attack for Y attacks. When Y hits 0, debuff is removed. Stack increases Y. So it's just a duration extension, basically. This is right.
But the Y hits 0 and the debuff is removed. That's interesting, I guess. So when the effect is disappearing, you also it also removes a debuff with it.
Oh, not the debuff. I thought you meant itself, if that makes sense.
Debuff, it's a buff.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I was thinking because you'd play it on yourself, really, wouldn't you? And hello, Gareth. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing good. Provide small damage reduction. Okay, I see what you're saying.
I stole this one from.
No, you were inspired.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, no, it could work. It could work. It could definitely work. Let me just try and think if there's anything else on that. I was thinking with the damage reduction one. Another like damage reduction one you could have is like every time you take, or like let's say armor, just a normal armor. They have this already, so there's nothing super clever here, which would just be an armor buff, and this would be it. Provides X armor. Oh no, I guess or N armor per stack. So imagine 1 probably. When damage, when damaged, each point of armor is armor with a U. Armor. No, sorry. Point of damage reduces armor by 1. Y increase. Yeah, so Y, so it stacks basically. Now, why have I struggled to explain that so well? It's basically the armor mechanic that's in most of these games now, where if you have a thing that gives you 2 armor, you'll maintain that 2 armor. It doesn't go down. It's not a duration.
True.
So it stays on you with no duration.
Attacks instead of turns here to represent that.
Well, yeah, it's either attacks or points of damage. So
Yes.
it's not so much like you take 50% less damage. It'd be more of it'll just absorb those points of damage. Yeah, we could do that. Just because then you could have like tanky characters could have things like, you know, on your attack, hit an enemy for 5 damage and get 1 armor. Just to make them a little bit more tanky. If that makes sense.
Like we can use that for characters like they are tanky but they have
Lower health.
Low health pool.
Yeah, I agree. It also could be interesting, give player choices between like, do I attack for 4 damage or do I attack for 3 damage and get 1 armor? Based on the scenario that's going around you, it's not, you'd make a decision. There's a decision to make, and I think that's what we want to try and add in, isn't it? Of like, if I'm towards the end of a fight, then I'm going to use, or if I don't think I'm going to take any damage for the rest of the fight, then I'm obviously going to be doing the 4 attack instead. But if there's a chance or I'm worried about my health or anything like that, then I'd go for the less damage in order to get a bit of armor.
Nice.
But, that could be also be like a mage armor if you wanted to make it a little bit more different. And I mean, we're just adding a word before armor. But if we wanted to make it not just for like melee characters or barrier or something like that.
Protective shield.
Barrier. The language barrier. And then blessed cannot receive debuffs for wide turns. Yeah, that was the one you were talking about earlier, right? Yeah, I like these, man. These are all good. And what's interesting is these are all new.
New, and they're not that difficult to implement. So
yeah. Okay, homesick. Base stats are lowered until you stop by a camp.
Oh, these are like overworld.
Yeah, stuff. That makes sense. Smell attracts enemies. So I guess we had like a stress or something we mentioned earlier as well, right?
The more you travel, you get the more chance you get these.
Yeah, it's similar to homesick in a way, isn't it? I guess. But yeah, no, I see where you're coming. These are more like overworld. I'm just gonna write it. So they're overworld. These are.
Though they're overworld, but they affect your battles. So.
Oh right, I see what you're saying. Well, so no, attracts enemies doesn't, I guess, right? Or does it mean that they're more likely to attack you?
Yeah, maybe it's some sort of taunt.
They want to attack the smelly one. So is that? Are we now saying that there's now an attack where you pee on the character so that you can all target them?
Yeah.
You can make them smelly. You could make it so any smelly character. How does is there like
smelly by default?
If you're blinded, you can still attack a character that's smelly by following your nose. Or either like, you know, the random target ones will always target the smelliest.
You're upsetting Spacey at the moment. Not like this.
No, these are good though. These are good.
This could be a start point for me actually to get back.
Getting coding and back into the code base.
And after these, I'll design some cards around these, and also preferably some cards that have some complementary.
Oh, effects. Like, yeah. So if like if they're poisoned, then they heal extra. Or if someone's resting, like a heal, if they're already resting, then your heal does extra healing to them.
Yeah, and I also want to have this harmony between the ability cards and the slot cards as well. Like you want to add some cards to your deck that has some skills that apply exposed, for example, and then your ability cards are they are
Amplified, but
amplified with exposed. Yeah, maybe.
yeah, that makes sense. So, like for example, a special for the thief could be like, I'm trying to think of a very typical RPG example, but it would basically consume all the poison charges currently on the target to do damage, or like do 2 damage times per stack of poison. Even though poison doesn't stack, I know it's a bad example of what we've talked about, but or what about engulfing, like a fire one for the mage? So we have a burned one, right?
Well, I already have a burnt thing actually.
Oh yeah, you do for the conflagrat, don't you?
Conflagrat, yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, they already take bonus damage actually for burned, which makes it.
yes,
Or maybe
that's true.
reduce the cost of this card if the target is burned.
Yeah, maybe.
Or even if you've got a buff, like you could do things like that. Like if you have, I'm trying to think of any good one that you'd have.
It gives you your AP back if you hit a target.
Yeah, things like that could work. Yeah, refunds AP per 1 AP per stack of something. Yeah, that could really work well because that actually gives us an idea of how we can have a what they call them in these sort of games, like a cycling deck.
Yes.
Where you can effectively just keep going and going and going. If you combo things nice enough in one turn, I guess you'd run out of cards eventually.
That's one thing we're lacking at the moment. We don't have those combos a lot, and that makes the slot card bit boring at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I also still think like slot cards could be something that's like just a way of upgrading your character. Almost like you finish if you finish a quest, you can choose a new. It's like just a super card that you're gonna have. Or, but yeah, I know. I mean, I see what you mean. They're good abilities though. I don't feel like they're boring. It's just they don't have good interaction with the deck. You almost always want to use them always. It's not always often like, oh, what should I do before it? So I quite like the idea that there's a special, but you choose to delay because you want to do some of the like, get a buff on yourself first or a debuff on the enemy before you use it, for example. Like that would be good. That's more like decision making. Well, if you work on that, I think what I could probably try and do is come up with a first draft of a very set story, even if it eventually is like procedural or chooses from a pool or whatever. Okay. If we can just hard code like a little campaign, like design wise, I'll do it at least for now. And exploring some of those ideas you talked about earlier, and maybe thinking of some boss mechanics, like some new characters for the bosses and stuff. If I can try and get some details down for that, then yeah, I think that would be useful because I still think we have the problem. If we do all of what you've just been talking about, we're still not going to know how it feels really.
We can do the simplest and the expected. Kill the hands first, then Melaphobia.
Kill the the classic. Yeah, I think I'm really keen to try and explore how we can make it feel like a boss that makes the encounter original. Because that's really what bosses are in a game, right? They're just like, oh, it has this mechanic. Like, this is slightly different this time, right? And even not in card games. Like, they have a thing about them. And that can sometimes be their special or their ultimate, but I don't know if that's deep enough for all our characters. So I'd like to start looking at the design-wise at the how we can use the board, like we said before.
Yeah.
Even if we think about those, what did we call them? The little minion slots.
The front line.
The front line, yes.
You're still saying minion. It's incredible.
But like, yeah, some like lane-based damage, or whether we use the front lines, or whether we use just some more like changing the battlefield, the shape of it, the territories of it, or something like that as well. But not that's only a little bit. The main thing I want to do is to just try and think of a like literally how would it look from a player.
Card that changed the resolution of your game. Change the orientation. It becomes portrait.
No, this is not helpful. It closes and launches the game in Unity for a smoother experience. No,
the game becomes pixel art all of a sudden. Yes, artifacts. We're on the same page.
But yeah, so I guess what I'm thinking is like a story, a campaign where
true potential. Sorry, that made me laugh.
I think, yeah, I'd like to come up with something where I can just say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We can discuss it. You can say, oh no, I don't want to do that, whatever. But we decide on something as a first draft. And we implement it.
One thing I want to discuss is the UI for the new status effects. Actually, it's tricky.
We have a lot. I half feel that is going to have a bit of an overhaul at some point. Even though all the graphics we got are lovely, they were pretty much all made for the Jam as well. So it's okay if they need to be remade.
With the new approach, I mean, we need the effect icon, turns left, a number of stacks.
Hold on. What? Can you say that again? Sorry.
So with the new approach, the status effects need an icon, turns left indicator, and number of stacks as well.
Yes. Maybe we can have a look in various games, see how it does, and take what we like most. Because I've seen it in a bunch, but quite often it's not on the card. I think that's the trouble we've had, is we represent stuff on the card. And there's a reason for that, because cards move around. Whereas in some of these games, characters are pretty much static, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll do an attack animation and then they go back. So the effects can stay where their portraits are. But in our game, like, we have it where the characters are on the side or the bottom, however, whichever month you played our game in. And then our character goes out and sits on the board until the end of turn. And so if the stats don't go with it, it's not nice, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think we could have something that's just kind of... I'm trying to think, how would you do it if it was a physical board game? You know how I like this, brain.
Stop it.
But could you put like a card underneath it, but just up a little bit, if that makes sense? Oh, it'd be difficult in a game, though, for visual representations. Do you know what I mean? Like where you stack them on top of each other, but move the back one up a little.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But I feel like that, if you had multiple debuffs, it would just take up most of the vertical space of the screen. But maybe... I wonder if if we only let it go once, that just shows that you have debuffs, and then you could hover over it to see all the information. Maybe it shows like the icons of what debuff you've got.
Okay, so that's research.
Yeah. Okay, where's our little chat one feedback? Is it this? No? Yes? Deck building. I guess we're not really on deck building anymore. So at the moment, are we? Let's make a new item. This is just going to be campaign And was it buffs or status effects, or what would you want to call it here?
Campaign and status effects, yeah. SEs, special editions.
Thank you. Vietlol, what was the Rogue Legacy memories? Was it about the yes? I remember that some of the characters could have it where everything is pixelated, or they even have it where everything is dark, other than like right around you. There's always an interesting challenge for visual design. Pokemon trading card game online did the stacks quite well. Good. I'll make a note for that for when we research it. That sounds good. Thank you, Wheatlol. So let's just get a general summary of what we discussed on the 13th of the 1st, 2022. Okay, so first off, we talked about let's just do some bullet point. Discussed different ideas for campaign missions. Whilst exploring, these are so missions are like a variety, like your gameplay or objective. Yeah, I guess so. Objectives to achieve during a run.
Yeah, nice one.
Which means not every run is just heading to the end of the map to beat the boss. Like Slay the Spire or Darkest Dungeon. This can include defend X locations, escort character from B to C. I assume we start at A. Sorry, what was that?
Or collecting resources.
Yeah.
I was going to.
Yeah. Collecting resources. Okay, we got the full list of them in the other thing, but just as a quick summary, that was fine. We discussed the characters or missions could be selected in an order that the player prefers, like a notice board. For example, a notice board could display all available missions. And we also wanted a consideration of how we can make sure that the player doesn't go straight towards the boss, but I guess this is our way of doing it through offering more than just boss missions. So yeah, I feel that's fine not to address that right now. Hey, Big Mac Attack, welcome back. You and then you just yeet them and re-roll. What on Rogue Legacy? Yeah, sometimes the gold bonus wasn't worth it. Partly. Okay, so that was the first thing we discussed. We then went on to discuss. We wanted to make. I know that there was the status effects, but I'm trying to think if we touched upon a mid zone. Let me just, I guess, write down the obvious stuff. Discussed the need for more diversity in debuffs.
Before all this, I guess we discussed the free roaming mechanics, right?
Oh, in terms of like things that could make your party want to go home and stuff, you mean? Or for
The
go on.
Stamina hunger, or
Yes, yeah. Thank you. That's the bit I was trying to think of a sec ago.
the night cycle. Only night cycle.
Discuss the need for more diversity in debuffs. Looking for potential complementary buffs and slot cards, abilities. Talk about that. Okay, so free roaming. How to what restrictions to place on a party during map navigation. Free roaming navigation. So this was basically there needs to be some form of freedom, yet some mechanics to put pressure, I guess, on the player / prevent cheesing, exploiting, I guess, the game. I think really we didn't talk about too much of this other than things like the party may have limited energy or fuel, hunger or something like that, right?
Yep.
That needs replenishing. Whether that's at the base, so that's literally restricting you. So kind of like Darkest Dungeon, like you could purchase or take more food supplies if you plan on a long journey, maybe. I don't know if that's exactly what we were thinking.
Yeah, that works.
We also talked about...
I'm reading them right now, like the time-based one.
Oh yeah, so the night thing.
Mm-hmm.
Each movement consumes time. Soft Enrage. Do you know what I mean when I say Soft Enrage?
Yes.
Yeah. I know. So like I know it from like World of Warcraft, but I don't know how common it is across games. So like a Soft Enrage, when night falls, every node becomes an enemy encounter node, something like that. And there was a sub idea here that traveling along an already known path only reduces the cost of travel or the duration. What was that? Sorry, mate.
You should explain it for Spacey.
Wonders what Soft Enrage is. Okay, so in games, I'll explain from the context I know of, like World of Warcraft, you would have a boss and they would have what they call like an Enraged Timer. So in World of Warcraft, you have a bunch of different characters who can take damage and can heal and then can do damage. And as a way to make the encounter hard, they would say, after 5 minutes, this boss will start hitting twice as hard, or hit so hard that it doesn't matter how strong your characters are, you can't defend. You can't permanently sustain that damage and heal it. So it's a requirement they put on an encounter to force the rest of the team need to make sure that they're either performing well enough or they're efficiently managing the problems in the boss fight, or that they have the best gear so that they can deal enough damage in the time. So that's a hard enrage, is you literally, after a certain amount of time, they make it so the boss will just kill everyone. A soft enrage is where they just make it harder, progressively harder after a certain phase, which will make it more likely for you to fail. So in this case, you can keep going from node to node and you would be fighting things, but it's basically turning it into hard mode. And eventually, in a soft enrage will turn into a hard enrage eventually, normally, where it'll get to a point again where it's no longer sustainable. So you could do it like for every hour after the sun's gone down, there's like an enemy on each. No, let's not do every hour. Let's just say after one, if you've been out for one night, there's an enemy on every single node. If you've been out 2 nights, then there's an elite on every node, and if you've been out 3 nights, then there's a boss on every node, for example, where you just wouldn't be able to survive that.
Yes.
So that's loosely what I mean by that. Yo, welcome.
We also talked about party stamina resulting with fatigue cards.
Yes, party stamina. If party members get fatigued if they take part in too many battles, let's say. When fatigued, or fatigue cards are added to the deck No, it's not party members. The whole party, I guess, right?
Whole party.
Party. It can get fatigue if they take part in too many battles. Fatigue cards are added to the deck to represent this. Effectively, meaning you draw dead cards and which makes things more difficult, basically.
Okay. These are my favorites out of the ones we talked about.
Okay, cool. And then the final thing was the debuffs. So yeah, with this it was we looked at which existing debuffs could be stacked and how the stacking would impact the status effect. We also looked at considered a host of new status effects which seek to kind of, what's the word I want to get, like complement other kind of like ability. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is they seem to. It's like we're looking for ways to make cards be used together, or to give more players the decision. To I guess give players more decisions to make, offensively and defensively, I guess.
Yes. Good one.
And then we also looked at. We agreed it'd be nice to try and create some synergy between certain what did we call them? No, wasn't special effect, was it? Status effect. That's right. Status effects and abilities, like combos almost. But not like combos is a bit misleading there. I think synergy works fine.
Yeah, synergy is good.
I still wonder if we could have some combo. I still love that original idea. If you turn over like 3, what do you call them?
Cards?
Of the same ones, yeah. I was trying to think of our super card or true strikes. Then it's just like insta kill someone or something. Like it upgrades it. It'd be great. But anyway, okay. So and then so some objectives or to-dos, or what did I don't know what I normally call it. So to-do list was that so Dan would set out or design a specific campaign path. Campaign path. This will be revised with Brainoid next time, but the aim is to have a hard-coded campaign that would feature a variety of missions, as we said earlier, progression between runs, bosses, and an end game or game conclusion, I guess, because end game sometimes means like you can keep playing at the end of a game. It's a bit misleading, so because it's not the end of the game, is it? If you can't finish, it's not the end. All right, that's what Dan said he'd do. Brainoid said he would Bora.
I will
implement.
Rework. Yeah. I will rework the status effects first, because like they don't support stacking at the moment.
Yes.
I think that will take some time, honestly. But yeah.
I'm not expecting you to do all of these. I'll just note them and we can stretch them or whatever.
I also want to implement a few of them. If I can find the time.
Implement some of the new status effects. Also, both of us will research UI
Yeah, UX as well.
options
UIX.
for displaying debuff duration stacks. Yeah, cool. I think that sounds reasonable, right?
Thank you.
All right, all right. A good meeting. Did you bring any cakes or donuts?
I did not.
Well,
I only have Toblerones.
Toblerones are not a bad. I mean, I could go with
Yeah.
a Toblerone. That could work.
Nice.
They're the normal size ones though, right? Not the giant ones. We talked about this
No, they're
before.
the normal ones. 100 grams.
It's not even a Toblerone. That's like one block off a big one. Get out of here. Actually, 100 grams is still a decent little chunk, actually.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I only like ate three or four triangles, and that's good enough calories, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But right, is there anything else sticking on your mind with this, or do you feel that you're in a place where we can progress forward a little?
No, it's good to wait talking with you again.
Yes, I agree. I do worry going forward how well I'll be able to juggle all the things I'm trying to do. I need to do a side project with one, like my boss, something that I'm doing for my boss in work, which isn't in work, an out of work thing that I've agreed that I'd be up for. So that's going to take some time. That's going to be the side project. Out of work hours, I then have AHA as well, which I need to, since we're doing one stream a month, and we did a session with Hefu the other day, which felt good. I'd like to tinker away at that a little bit. We also have this, and I also have tutorial stuff. The sponsor streams with Microsoft, they need to see whether they got funding again this year or not for this sort of stuff.
I said to Alicia today, Alicia, I'm only happy to be on your schedule.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you said you're on my schedule.
Oh, hang on. No, I'm still confused.
My calendar. Your calendar.
Oh, did you hang on? What are you saying? Why am I so confused by what you're saying?
Sorry, that was my fault.
I added you to my calendar for us to hang out tonight. That was good.
Yes, that's a difficult thing considering you're a very busy man.
Oh, that's what you mean, right? Okay, thank you. No, but the thing is though, this isn't just like a side thing for me as well. It's something that I am passionate and care about as well, man. So it's I should make time for it. It's just yeah, as I said, well, maybe the Microsoft stuff might not happen again for a while. If they don't get funding again for it this year, then I don't need to do any more sponsor streams, and that would give me some time.
As always, maybe as always, I should be helping you with your other side projects to get you back on track.
Aha, yes. Well, I mean, yeah. To be honest, you did a little with AHA before. I probably just need a couple of sessions with AHA to really work out where I am and what we need to do. But like, yeah, it was progress. We're at quite a good point with it actually.
Yeah, early on it was in a vague state, so I wasn't really able to help. But
yeah,
once we get a solid product, I can add on it, I guess.
Yeah. I think that, and like, I'm looking forward to doing stuff. Like, it's really annoying because like when I did Honest Adventure, there was nothing else like that on Twitch, I feel, that I knew about anyway. There was, well, I mean, we copied Windybeard, of course there was, but things like quests and that I felt were like a nice little battle thing. And then we're like, oh, we could do it when someone raids, we could try. So it was all original nice ideas, and then 3 years has gone past of me being too busy or lazy to do anything, and now you look and there's like loads of these either people working on these things, or there's just like fully integrated like stream raiders where people sign up and go off on a thing. So it's a shame in a way, but I know I can also do better than a lot of the shit I see out there.
Still has potential that it will be the biggest one.
Yeah, and yet knowing me, I would still just say like, no one else can use it, it's just me. Suckers. Yeah, no, indeed. But yeah, I just think I'm a bit annoyed that I've not made progress on it, because I feel that timing wise, that when I do finish it now, it'll be like, oh yeah, this is like, Bob's game. I'm like, but I thought of it long ago.
It was only the pressure of the pets, wait.
2019 is still happening, mate. It's still happening. Don't you worry about it.
Sure.
Anyway, but yeah, sorry. The point I was trying to say is I'm a little concerned that like how much I'm spinning on my plates, and I'm like trying to do a couple more like chilled streams to keep one to make sure that me and Alicia spend time together and play games, because we don't play too many games together, but we both like playing games. So that's why I'm trying to do the thing on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I'm just trying to force myself to have a bit of a stream where I cannot dread it. I can't dread, oh, I got to sit down and play a game for 3 hours. To me, that's like, yes, that's great. So that's one of the things I wanted, is something to like look forward to in the middle of my week. So
I'm not watching your Witcher series because I just bought the game as well.
Oh yeah, that's all good. That's all good. And I'm glad you didn't, because there was boobs at the end of last stream. Crikey,
Nice.
we were not ready. I mean, we were. Someone warned me.
I watched Witcher 1 and 2 playthroughs.
Oh yeah, you did. You did.
And the guy is really creepy. He goes to brothel and clicks on each girl one by one and watches the cutscenes.
What, the guy who's doing the video recording you're watching, is it?
Yes.
Oh dear, oh dear. I'm sure there's lots of pervy mods as well that you can get. But anyway, enough about that. Let's not derail. But yeah, no. Well, to be honest, the Witcher stream's like super quiet. I had barely anyone in last night, but there's a couple of people in, and I don't mind. Like, I enjoy the game anyway. It's one of those things where like I know I can't do dev streams as much as I used to, and I'm not going to be able to build up viewership based on my streaming schedule, and kind of like the way I would build up viewership as a streamer would be to smash out dev work every day. That's like, in this area, that's how I could build up people and have a, do 4 hours a night, 5 days a week, something like that. I could build up, hopefully push up to a big chunk of viewers again, but I don't have the time or energy, which is a shame. So like, I'm happy to stream stuff that people aren't super interested in. If it means that someone can pop in and go, oh, I haven't seen you for ages, how you doing? Then I'm fine with that.
Like visual novels.
Danny! Yes. Yes. Cosplay as Geralt. I like, someone else said that, yeah, cosplay as Geralt, but Siri. But unfortunately I don't think I have the biceps. See, they're just even when I tense, it's just a lump of pink flesh. I don't have and I don't have the very tightly fit leather outfits either, Bucksnail, but hey, maybe that's what I'm missing. Not being able to sit down. Anyway, Brain, this is your time. I'm spending chatting ship, so
it's not my time, it's over.
It's our time. Okay. All right. So yeah, thanks for joining us, people in chat. And Brain, I thank you for your time as well, and as always, your hard work on Cattenburg. Spacey, I'm hoping it'd be nice that sometime this year if we can get to a point where we're like, hey, this looks great for like a demo, and then we could go to you and say, all right, we want some more art, and then over the next 6 months or something, you could work on getting us some new or changed or whatever art that we need, and you can get back involved in the project from a kind of endpoint perspective as well. It'd be nice. But yeah, we shall see.
With those assets, we can go active in screenshot Saturdays more often, maybe.
yeah, that's a point. I need, to be honest, when we start making progress, I started posting on the Unreal Reddit thing, and to be honest, if we posted some good screenshots in there, I think there's a chance if we happen to get lucky on one of the day where quite a few people see it and like it, and then it could be on the front page of the Unreal subreddit for the day. You get quite a good few hundred people look and comment and stuff on it, and that'd be nice to get some input from people,
Sure.
So, but I think you need something that looks cool. Because I saw someone before, was like, oh, what do you think of this cool thing where basically they had a character with a sword who killed someone, and once they die, like a little spirit thing comes from the enemy they die and goes and possesses a corpse, and it reanimates them as another enemy. And like, I mean, it looked kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like there's less work in that than our entire game. And so I think it'd be nice when we can get to a bit where we can show off, like, hey, look at all this hard work we put in, which is something that you haven't done or thought of. That would be fun to do. But
Okay.